Hello and welcome to another episode of Sailing with Us. In this episode we're going to be talking about how heavy is your boat. As usual, trying to find something different to talk about than other channels. We've just had the boat taken out of the water and we've noticed the tide mark is very close to the top of the anti-fouling. So I'm beginning to think, am I overloading the boat? But there's no actual figures how much the boat can or can't carry. So we've emptied everything off. I'm going to individually weigh everything that goes on the boat that wouldn't be on the original build list, just to see how much it weighs.
You're probably all saying it's all about displacement. After all, a duck still floats whether its stomach's empty or full. However, there's more to it than that. Commercial merchant vessels have a Plimsoll Line, an internationally recognised load line indicating the maximum safe carrying capacity. The different numbers on the Plimsoll Line relate to whether the vessel is operating in salt or fresh water, or even the water temperature and sea states that may be incurred during the vessel's journey. This is all very interesting, but how does it actually help me on a leisure yacht?
Angie and I used to own a Contessa 32, just like this one. The production run started in the early 70s, and I can believe you can still buy a new one today. Rogers and Sadler pulled off a stroke of genius with this model. As an owner, you need to be confident with the boat's stability, freeboard and robust construction. These days, new European manufactured yachts are fitted with a CE plate. It shows the boat's maximum load capacity.
Our 30-year-old Bavaria is built to a Lloyd's quality standard. We've been very pleased with this old yacht and its robust design. Everything seems to be just slightly over-engineered. I'm no expert in yacht design, but these chain plates would probably fit a yacht twice the size.
This plug is what I removed when I installed the bow thruster. I had to drill a section out. And actually, to measure it now, that's 22mm thick. So it's nearly an inch thickness of hull. Quite impressive, really.
I think we can all agree the best way to sail is keeping water out of the boat and the mast above the waterline. So a strong hull has a lot to do with how much the boat can carry.
If you're ever suffering with insomnia and you want a good book to put you to sleep, I thoroughly recommend this one, The Nature of Boats. It has, however, some real useful nuggets of information. For instance, how to measure how much your boat can carry. We have here the formulas you'll need. The top one is imperial and the bottom one is in metric.
Using the Contessa 32 as a template, it has a displacement to waterline length ratio of 306, putting her firmly in the heavy displacement category. Despite it having a similar waterline dimensions to our Bavaria, it has a displacement of over a ton heavier before it starts. And our Bavaria has a ratio of just 163, defining her as a light cruiser. And of course we're all guilty of hanging outboard motors and other accessories from railings. Even adding a radar halfway up the mast doesn't help for stability. Life rafts on push pits. And of course the ubiquitous solar arch. All there to upset the balance of the boat. So let's go and have a weigh, see how much took we're actually cramming on Blue Solitaire. So we're in a warehouse and I've managed to borrow a pallet truck which is equipped with a calibrated set of scales, and we'll weigh each pallet separately.
Pallet number 1 is a mooring pallet consisting of fenders, dock lines, 10 kg Bruce anchor and 45 metres of 8mm chain. and it weighs in at just over 100 kilos. Pallet number 2 is our emergency pallet, consisting of Teng Tools toolkit, fully serviced life raft and life jackets, flares in a waterproof grab container, wet weather clothing and life rings, and it weighs in at 57 kilos.
Pallet number 3. I think we'll call this a liquid pallet. Blue Solitaire carries 100 litres of diesel and 120 litres of fresh water in 2 stainless steel tanks, with a combined weight of just over 200 kilograms.
Pallet number 4 has our full set of sails including storm jib, and their weight is 61.5 kilos. And finally pallet number 5. It consists of an outboard motor, dinghy and davits, electric hookup, 2 gas bottles and 4 fire extinguishers, weigh in at 94.5 kilos.
And up here on a forward bulkhead we have a plate which I believe is something to do with the registration weight of the boat, but if there's anyone out there in YouTube land that can help me, please drop us a line in the box below.
A kind neighbour lent me a copy of his owner's manual, and it explains what the CE mark has and also how many crew it can carry. Now his boat is a 32, mine is just slightly shorter than that, so if I take this as a rough guide to how much our Bavaria can carry. Some of you may be familiar with the saying, if all else fails, read the manual, and on the next page it clearly has a listing of the boat's displacement, empty, full and its ballast.
It's time to summarise what I've learned. I suspected I've been overloading the boat, and I still don't know its exact carrying capacity. I must stress, I'm not a naval architect. However, I am very passionate about the safety of my boat and crew. Perhaps if you're watching this, you'll spare a thought for the load distribution on your own boat. Phil, the travel hoist driver, advises me his crane is equipped with calibrated load cells on both the front and rear slings. So the grand total of our empty boat is 6.7 tonnes. Staggering.
And this is the last bag to go on board. Have to go and tot it all up.
Everything we weighed in the warehouse came to just over 500 kilograms. So add that to the empty boat's weight, we have a total of 7,200 kilograms. No wonder she sits low in the water. Well, Millie, looks like one of us has got to lose some weight, and it's not you. I'll tell you what, let's go for a sea trial with our daughter and her boyfriend. See if the boat stays afloat.
Welcome aboard, guys. This is our first trip out this year. It's known as a shakedown trip. Typically pretty miserable weather. It's starting to drizzle. We've got 15 to 18 knots of wind on the nose, and it's cold. It's about 6 degrees. You guys agree? 6 degrees out here. But we're still heading out down the river because we're hard.
Having just said we're hard, nothing compares with these brave RNLI crews going to sea in a little rib. I doff my cap in recognition of their dedication. So where's that sunshine? There it is on the starboard beam. Thanks for watching.